Good day to the organizers, women at Ascension, speakers, and participants. My name is Korie Chetachi Vanessa. I'm a PhD candidate in development economics and the founder of two organizations in Cameroon. Edumuna, an ecosystem supporting mothers and children through nutrition, health, and early learning, and Impact Life Growth, a non-profit organization empowering girls through education, health, and economic opportunity. So when I speak about gender equality and women's empowerment, I'm not speaking from a distance. I'm speaking from the field, from the data, and from the faces of the girls I work alongside every week. My objective is clear: to show how we move from mindset to movement through 4 pillars: education, mindset, law, and leadership, and why these pillars must work together to build transformation that lasts. So let me start with something I've observed in my country. In Cameroon, I've seen a girl become a mother before 18, disappear from school, from work, and from her own future. My research shows this is not one story, but a systemic pattern. The numbers tell the same story globally. The World Bank confirms that 2.4 billion women still lack equal legal protection, and that closing gender gaps could add $12 trillion to the world economy. Yet, at our current pace, it will take us 131 years to reach equality. 131 years. That is not a timeline. That is a generational failure we cannot accept and we will not accept. So how can we work to make things change? Well, the first pillar is education, the gateway to every other right. Before a girl can claim her future, she must be able to learn safely, consistently, and without having to choose between eating and studying. At Impact Life Growth, we pay school fees, provide food, and train girls in income-generating skills. At Edumuna, we begin even earlier because education starts before the classroom. We support mothers with nutrition guidance, health tracking, and early learning for the children. Evidence shows every year of secondary school raises a girl's future earning by up to 25%. And more to that, an educated mother is 5 times more likely to have healthy, school-ready children. Therefore, education is not charity. It is empowerment, and it is equality. Now I want to speak about something that does not always appear in international reports, but that everyone working in the field knows is absolutely essential. The second pillar, this is mindset and advocacy. Laws can change on paper, but minds change in community. Real lasting transformation must happen in 3 places: inside the girl herself, inside her family, and inside the community before we will ever truly see it reflect in society. The girl must believe deeply, not just intellectually, that she has the right to learn, to lead, to choose her own future. And this requires mentoring, safe spaces, and consistent voices that affirm her worth. The family must be part of the journey. We cannot bypass fathers, mothers, and grandparents. We must engage them because they make the first decisions about girls' future. And the community must shift what is considered normal. This is what events like this conference make possible. They create spaces where these conversations can happen safely. They build global solidarity so that local change makers working in difficult environments are never alone. And I want to be honest about something. Change must be done wisely. Not every society moves at the same speed. In communities where cultural norms run deep, we must advocate strategically, protecting girls and their families from backlash, while steadily and patiently expanding what is acceptable and what is possible. Wise advocacy means listening to families' real fears, The long walk to school, the risk of abuse, the pressure to marry early, they are not excuses. They are real concerns. We must work with communities to create safe alternatives, closer schools, community escorts, girls' networks, name them. When families see education not as a burden but as security, we protect girls and shift what community believe is normal. Therefore, empowerment requires cultural change, not just legal change. The final two pillars must move forward together because they depend on each other completely. If the law does not protect her, she cannot lead. If she does not lead, the law will never fully protect her. Justice systems must be accessible for survivor-centered, especially for the girls most vulnerable to gender-based violence. On the leadership side, you have to train girls not just to survive economically, because financial independence is the root of every other freedom. We must advocate actively for girls to enter the workforce, not just as workers, but as entrepreneurs and decision makers. Countries with stronger gender equality laws grow up to 20% faster. Companies with women in leadership outperform by 21%. So as I close, I leave you with the words that guide everything I do in my research at Ejimona and in Impact Life Group. Change the law, because rights written nowhere protect no one. Change the mind, because the deepest barriers are not always in the legal code. They are in what people believe is possible for a girl. And change the word, one girl, one family, one community at a time. This work is not always fast. It is not always easy, but it is the most important work there is. Empowerment is not given, it is built in minds, in families, in communities, and in law. Thank you for this space to share, and thank you for your commitment to a world where every girl has the power to define her own future. Thanks once more.